Disclaimer before I start the video, there's no best team. There's no best team that somebody can give you. For one, everybody has a lot of different units, so you might not have all the boost units. But at the same time, you need to know that there are different ways to actually approach this game mode, and you're going to understand that through listening to this guide, basically. So enjoy the video, guys.
To go even further beyond.
Yeah, my name is Zakashi, and in this video we're going to be going through some tips and advice on the Tournament of Power mode. It's actually released right now, so if you haven't played, don't go ahead and play. Watch this video first all the way through. If you have played, then you'd have to actually utilize most of what I'm going to say in this video in the next season, but there are still things that you can actually take away from this video because it will be very, very useful. So before I actually get into the video, I'm trying to make this video as fast as possible, compact as possible, but at the same time informative and informational as possible. So if you haven't already, make sure to press that subscribe button on this grind to 20k. Press that subscribe button, show some support. All my socials are on the left. It's the YouTube channel, but we got Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, Instagram, and the Discord link all in the description below. So make sure to check me out on all of those. But yeah, we're gonna go into the Tournament Power game mode, how to maximize your tournament points, the way to actually survive the longest, because there's things people are not considering, but we're gonna actually look at multiple things so that you guys can actually get a grasp of the game mode. Alright, so the first thing you need to realize is that there's a limited amount of TP. You have about 5, and the battles take TP, but it takes a long while for them to refresh. But it's not a thing where you're meant to complete it in a short amount of time. It's going to take quite a bit. The season lasts 2 seasons. As you can see, you have to get all the way to the top and actually get the maximum amount of battle points. But the one thing about this game mode that's actually stressing people already, because they already went in and crazy and just fumbled the whole game mode already for the 2 seasons, is that once you pick the characters that you're going to be using, you cannot change them for the season. So that's why it's vital. I told you at the start, do not go into the game mode. If you listened, then you listened. If you didn't, then you gotta wait till 2 weeks until the next season. And now a lot of people are gonna have a head start over you. So the team that you pick at the start is very vital. Now, to actually make my case to tell you what sort of team that you actually want to pick, you'd probably be wondering what's the best team to get the most points and whatnot, so you can actually get Chrono Crystals and rewards, the highest ranking rewards. Well, we're gonna actually look at the ranking here. So at the time of making this video, we got Chadhan at number 1. So we're going to use him as an example, because from what I can see, for the first 2 uses of your tournament power points, if you don't have 1.1 mil, you slightly falling behind. But don't worry if you're not in the top bracket, because I'm going to explain something later that would actually possibly cancel out how effective just using boost units is. So we're looking at Chadhan here. We're going to use him as a prime example. He's got all the boost units on his team: Trunks and Mai, Bergamo, Rose, Vados, Krillin, and Jiren. All 6. So he's going to get the maximum amount of points regardless. And that's what he went for instead of like the Z abilities and things like that, which is not a problem at all. He can probably get his Krillin to Zenkai 7, so it'll do good. Jiren solid, Vados is solid, Rose is solid. He's got him 7 stars. You can see his stars are quite high. And then for the backup, he's got 2 Zenkai 7s, which are probably going to work on a Krillin basis. You know how Krillin, when he dies, he actually gives Goku's buffs. So that's with his team formation. However, what I've gauged is, because of how it actually works, so I'm not saying that just because he chose this specific team formation that he's going to do good or bad. He's got a good start because you get boost from actually using these characters. So all of these 6 here, they're actually boost units, which give you 4% extra for each character tournament points. However, as you get higher, you're actually gonna need to use health points, because your health does not reset. So every battle you don't have full health. As soon as you go into a battle, you're gonna lose health, and you're gonna keep losing health. So it will get to the point where you need to heal, or you just might end up dying. So you have to be very careful in terms of how you're tackling this event. So like I showed that guy, Krillin might actually fall off. He might have bad defenses. Vados might fall off. She might have bad defenses, because if he's not using these and he's just trying to get the maximum amount of points, it's not going to last long. So what I'm suggesting is, just because you have boost units, the boost units only boost the amount of points you have, but they don't boost the amount of damage you're doing to actually glide through the event. So he could get to like here and then he could lose to these lot just simply because he didn't have enough health. Or if he's not strategizing well enough, then he could actually just get through everything, but because he's choosing the easier battles instead of healing and maybe choosing the harder battles, then he could actually have a low amount of points later. So it's not just about using the boost units. It's not just about choosing the most difficult, high difficulty battles. You actually have to actually strategize so that you can actually survive through the whole thing. Because there's no point of actually just choosing all the hard battles, healing maybe once, and then stopping here because all your units are dead when you could get to the top. With that being said, the game mode's only begun, so I actually can't tell you whether just using the boost units will be good enough, because for all I know, the boost units will actually be good enough to make it all the way to the top. But then you could also make the case that the units might not be good enough, so you'd actually want to pick a team that synergizes over trying to maximize your tournament points off the boost units. They all have 4%. So if we look at the units that I have, I'm gonna go to switch out here. These are the units I've chose. I chose Vados, Rose, and Jiren. I chose 3 out of the 6 boost units. They all these 3 give 4% battle score, but I didn't bring Bergamo, Krillin, and Trunks and Mai, and that's because I don't have Trunks and Mai. Krillin, I felt like he wouldn't do as good, and Bergamo wouldn't synergize with anybody except Vados because of the rival universes, and Jiren too. So it was either a thing where I went God Key, or I could have went Future, and I feel like because I don't have Trunks and Mai, Future was ruled out. So God Key was more for me with Rose and Vados, and I brought Jiren because out of Bergamo and Krillin, I feel like Jiren's the better option. I could have brought Bergamo, Jiren, and Vados and went rival universe, but overall my rival universe team isn't as good as my God Key team. So I went with 2 God Keys and just brought the good Jiren along. You could see my methodology of thinking. That might not work the best when it gets further on, but that's why you have other units. Like I brought Blue Goku. He actually gives buffs to God Key members. Super Saiyan 3 Goku buffs all the Saiyans. Gogeta Blue, he buffs God Key. And I only have LF Gohan here because I needed a red, but I felt like the God Key reds are pretty bad, which everybody knows God Key needs a red. But LF Gohan, when it gets later on, he's going to pick up a lot of buffs. You guys know how LF Gohan is. So I tried to synergize it, but at the same time, it's not doing it perfectly because you do also have to opt in for the boost units. There'll probably be better team formations and advice coming out as we continue forward. But I'm just trying to show you how the thing operates so you can actually build the best team for the first season. There's also equipments which are quite weird. Like if you look at here, I have Rose. He has 2 equipments, right? But they only have 2 slots. And these aren't equipments that you can get in regular shops, right? They're specific to the actual event. And if you're wondering how do you get these, I'm going to show you right now. So you go to the exchange shop, and then you go down here to the rare medals. Then on the right, there'll be a tournament power. I was going to say T.O.P. tournament power section. And these equipments only have 2 slots each, except for the first one. The first one literally only has 1 slot. But it's weird because there's not a lot that you can give to your characters, and these equipments are not the best, but I swear they will make the difference later on when you have low health, which is why I actually tried to add some, but I was kind of in a rush to play. My fault would be for being impatient, but if you haven't played, then you're doing good. But at the same time, because the TP is limited, you might want to actually play once so that you can get a start, but at the same time, we don't know how, like, there's a limit to how far you can get basically, and since we have 2 weeks, it shouldn't be that big of an issue if you like miss the first 5 hours of the game. One other thing you probably noticed, but if you didn't notice, it's very useful to know. You should go into the character's kit because it's not like how it is before. So you have your regular stats, and these are the things that work in PvP, how it works. For example, Gohan heals health in everywhere except the tournament power mode with his main ability. But with the tournament power stats, it's not the same. So you might give extra things that would actually benefit you in one way or another. So you should also look at this with the boost units and whatnot. There's the ability and how they would align. Gohan actually gives Sun Family to everyone else, which is pretty neat. The Gokus that I have on my team and the Zenkai abilities will obviously buff as well. But the main abilities, like the tournament power abilities, it's not the same at all. So just make sure to look at those and how they can actually impact your team in a certain way. Like for example, I don't feel like personally a grudge against regeneration specifically is going to carry me through all the way, but Gohan's good in himself, so that's why I've got him here. Other characters might have something else. I'm actually going to look at a boost unit here, Vados. If we look at her abilities, blast damage to own self, plus 20% inflicted by allied tag rival universal god key in range for 1. So that's useful for my whole team. This one here, minus 30% to damage inflicted. So this is to the enemies, so they'd actually do less damage to us overall. Things like that, you'd actually want to consider them. So have a look at all the characters that you might have and actually everything to use, so that you can make the best team. But at the same time, you have to factor in that, for example, Vados, Rose, and Jiren are boost units, so they'll give you more battle score points just off rip. So yeah. Now I'm gonna talk a bit about actually traversing through the map, the tournament power map, as well as actually your positioning of characters. So like I told you earlier, you can't change the position of your characters. I mean, you can't change what characters that you're using. Once you select them, that's it for the 2 weeks. But you can change the positioning of characters. So I'm gonna go here. You can see I'm right here, but my next battle is here. But I can click into it, and it tells me here that you have layout bonuses. So depending on where you position certain people, you can actually give them buffs. Because of this, I didn't notice at start. My battle log's actually quite weak. Here I could have got more points, but I actually got more points here. I kind of locked out my points. I should have got way more, but I didn't pay attention to the possibilities to do actually get a higher battle score. So here you can see there's different blocks that are lit up. Like there's 4, one on Goku Blue, Rose, Vados, and Jiren. If I actually move Jiren out of this block, so I'm going to put him here, and I go into it, it tells you what buff you actually get from placing someone there. And that will be very useful for the battle, obviously. So depending on which buff it is, this one's damage inflicted. You know Jiren has a strong punch, so you might want to put Jiren there. That's neat. Over here, let me move Rose out the way so you can see what this one here. This one's damage inflicted as well. But you know that Goku Blue probably does more damage than Rose, so I might want to put Goku Blue there. Over here, I'm going to move Vados out the way just to see where it is. This is critical rate. Because Rose is going to be doing more damage output than Vados, I might want to put Rose there instead. And then I'll leave Vados here. Or I might want to put Charlotte there. Or even Gogeta Blue. Like, it's literally up to you how you actually play through it. But it's just so that you know that you have these options, so that you can actually increase your battle score when you're going into battle, doing just more damage, losing less health, things like that. Now, traversing the thing, I feel like I already started out bad, because you can see you start here, but then you have these 3 in front of you, right? But if you're doing the higher difficulty ones, you'd actually get more battle score simply because it's higher difficulty. So in this case, if I was to go here, which I did, that would be good because it would give me more points than here. But then I went straight, right? But me going straight, the next move I make now, I'm actually unable to get a battle with higher difficulty. There's only this one in here. I can either heal or I can change my team formation, right? And that's kind of inconvenient if I wanted to get more battle points. So it might have been in my best interest to go high difficulty, high difficulty, high difficulty, high difficulty, high difficulty, then heal over here. But at the same time, I might not make it depending on my health. So like if I check the switch out, you can actually check the health of your characters, and you can see that Vados is like half health, Gogeta's alright, Jiren's okay, and then Gohan's on the sideline over here. He's kind of half health as well. He's lost a bit. So depending on how well you think your units are going to do in the field, it depends on what route you should take. So for me, I feel like my units are doing alright. So I feel like it would have been in my best interest to go diagonal, so that I could possibly go diagonal again. But then if I lost more health here, then I definitely opt in for the healing. But because I'm here, I can only go straight, diagonal, or diagonal. So if I actually want to do a battle, my only option is a low difficulty battle, where I would have wanted the option to have healing, a higher difficulty battle, and maybe one lower difficulty battle, just to open up my options. But you don't want to line yourself into a place where you can lower your battle points, your tournament points, the amount of battle score that you get. So that's just something I've quickly noticed. That's some advice for you guys that will really come in useful. Besides from that, just pay attention to your character's health. Pay attention to the buffs that you get in the positioning, like I showed you there. You actually want to utilize them because you don't want to go out bad basically, and just hope that you hold on until all the way to the end. Because if you die earlier, that's gonna be tough, my guy. You don't want to run out of units and like not even get to here. Maybe we won't even reach the top. Maybe it's not built for us to reach the top. I don't know. But that's for the upcoming days. Hopefully this guide was useful. Make sure you get your tournament points up. That's the best way you're actually gonna do your best. Always make sure to use the actual the strategizing bonuses, like I told you here, the layout bonuses, so that you can actually increase your battle score because you'll be doing better in the battle. But I'm gonna leave it like that. Press that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like I said at the start of the video, on this grind to 20k. All my socials on the left is the YouTube channel, but we got Twitter, Twitch, Reddit, Instagram, and a Discord link all in the description below. I did my best at actually trying to inform you guys. Get your equipments as well if you haven't started already. But if you have started, then you can prep for next season. My name's Zakashi, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Please, lend me your energy! You're through!